bilateral ties between India and Canada, where it only seems to be getting worse. India has slammed Canada for spying on our consular officials. The MEA has informed the Trudeau government that our diplomats have been and continue to be under audio and video surveillance, and that their communications have also been intercepted. India has formally protested to the Canadian government and has deemed these actions to be flagrant violation of relevant diplomatic and consular conventions. The MEA has emphasized that by citing technicalities, the Canadian government cannot justify the fact that it is indulging in harassment and intimidation of our officials. Remember, viewers, our diplomatic and consular personnel are already functioning in an environment of extremism and violence. This action of the Canadian government aggravates the situation and is incompatible with the established diplomatic norms and practices. Let's listen in to how the MEA responded to these incidents.
We were recently informed by the Canadian government that they have been and continued to be under audio and video surveillance. Their communications have also been intercepted. We have formally protested to the Canadian government as we deem these actions to be a flagrant violation of relevant diplomatic and consular conventions. By citing technicalities, the Canadian government cannot justify the fact that it is indulging in harassment and intimidation. Our diplomatic and consular personnel are already functioning in an environment of extremism and violence. This action of the Canadian government aggravates the situation and is incompatible with established diplomatic norms and practices.
All right, viewers. Now joining me live on the broadcast is Ambassador KP Fabian, who is a former ambassador of India to Qatar. Sir, I appreciate you joining me live on the broadcast, and thank you for speaking to NewsX. At this point of time, when a lot, in fact, has been carried with the kind of relations of India and Canada, now the latest stir, which in the recent incidents has been the surveillance of the diplomats of Indian diaspora done by the Canadian government, and a formal protest has now been lodged against it. How do you view this entire incident by and behest of the Canadian government unfolding?
Well, let me put it this way. It is clear that the current Canadian government wants to escalate the matter. It has no intention of de-escalating and restoring normal relations between the two democracies. And the second point is that it is wrong and it's against diplomatic norms. It is against the Vienna Convention to keep the diplomats or consular officials under surveillance, visual or auditory. Because imagine I am in Canada as a diplomat and I want to talk to somebody. And how can I talk freely if I know that someone else is eavesdropping? And in fact, even if I were not a diplomat, it is an invasion of my privacy. Now, let us assume for the sake of argument that a particular consular official has done something wrong. Suppose, I am not saying he has or hasn't. Now, in that case, Canada has two options. One is to tell India diplomatically, listen, there is this official who we have evidence has done something. Well, he can be quietly withdrawn. And if that doesn't happen, he can even be expelled. But to continue surveillance on diplomats or consular officials is wrong legally, morally, and it's against diplomatic norms.
And also, Mr. Fabian, when you are saying about how difficult and how, in fact, morally wrong and officially wrong it is to be placing the diplomats and commissioners of the Indian diaspora on surveillance, the relations between India and Canada particularly have suffered since Ottawa has accused the Indian High Commissioner and other top diplomats of being directly involved in the assassination of the extremist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. And this is now only stretching far. How do you see this unfolding in the days to come? there could be a breakthrough that you can expect in the site?
I'm afraid I do not see any sign of a good outcome for, sort of any attempt at de-escalation. We also know that a Diwali festival, which was supposed to have taken place in the House of Commons, the leader of the opposition, at the last moment, he cancelled his participation. And it has been reported that Jagmeet Singh, he is the leader of the NDP, New Democratic Party, a party which holds power in two provinces. One is British Columbia and the other is Manitoba. Uh, he has said that he is going to move a resolution in the House of Commons to declare there was genocide in India, against the Sikhs. He is referring to the 1984, immediately after Mrs. Gandhi was assassinated. And he has also said that what is now happening, according to him, is sort of, it's almost like a genocide. So my point is that the Khalistanis are determined to make matters worse. They have also they also say that they want the Indian consulates to be closed down and all that. So the only remedy which I can think of is that the non-Sikh population or the non-Khalistani Indian diaspora, which is by far the majority. The number of Khalistanis is small, but they are active. So the non-Khalistanis have to get active politically, and the message has to go to the Canadian political leadership. Listen, if you go on patronizing, protecting, encouraging, and working with the Khalistanis, you are going to pay an electoral price. So that message has to go through, and I don't think it has been sent or any effort is seriously being made to work on it.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.